Hello, friends. Welcome back. A new day is upon us, and with it, a fresh batch of absolutely critical developments that you need to be paying attention to. I used to be on the inside, working for one of those massive, well-known media corporations. I saw firsthand how they spin the stories, how they twist the facts, just to fit the approved narrative. I had to walk away. Now I'm independent, I'm speaking freely, and I'm here to tell you what's really going on. If you appreciate that independence, if you value this perspective, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you're able, maybe consider becoming a channel sponsor. It's that support that keeps this voice alive and completely independent. It means the world to me. First up, we have an announcement, and frankly, we were expecting this one. It comes from the legendary right-wing Dutch politician Geert Wilders. Following the preliminary results of the parliamentary elections, he is now claiming he has serious doubts about their legitimacy. He is hinting at falsification. And let's be honest, everyone understands the skepticism. How exactly does a left liberal, someone like Rob Jetten, with a party called Democrat 66, who has none of the experience of Wilders, suddenly, unexpectedly, leapfrog the leading, most popular right-wing party in the country? How does he become so popular so fast? Who exactly was this result meant for? It's not clear. It's a pattern we're starting to see everywhere. Now, Wilders provides specific examples, but naturally, I value your time. I'm not going to detail all of them. What is clear is this. The leader of the Dutch Party for Freedom isn't going to make statements like this just for fun. We'll have to see what happens next. But these kinds of, shall we say, surprising victories have certainly happened in other countries, as you well know. Meanwhile, over in Germany, Chancellor Friedrich Merz's comments about changes to the urban landscape have triggered a massive debate. But, as a new poll just showed, many voters actually agree with him. Earlier, Vice-Chancellor Klingbeil pushed back, saying he wants to live in a country where appearance doesn't determine whether a person fits into the city landscape. And with that, the Social Democratic Party leadership tried to distance itself from Merz, just deepening the split in the coalition. But here's the kicker. According to a new study, at least 50% of the Social Democrats' own supporters believe that Merz's words didn't break any taboo. They think he was simply reflecting the opinion of the majority of German citizens. This is a huge disconnect. And Merz, speaking recently in Potsdam, is standing by it. He insists the problem with the look of the city still exists. And this, he says, is precisely why the Federal Interior Minister is now working so hard to ensure and carry out, and I'm quoting, very large-scale deportations. That's the phrase being used. This is the reality they're discussing. Let me know what you think about this shift in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Just to add to the German political theater, the former foreign minister, the one we all know, Annalena Baerbock, has reminded everyone she's still around. She again lifted a quote from that famous American TV series, Gossip Girl, for her social media video. And just like that, people are split into two opposing camps over it. Baerbock, strolling through Central Park in New York in the fall, wearing a beige short coat, quotes the show's opening scene saying, "What compares to autumn in New York? Don't think that only the leaves are falling at this time." And then she adds her own text. It also means that the time for committee meetings has begun. And this is the time, she continues, when the real work begins for United Nations diplomats from 193 countries. She explains this after the video roll, where she suddenly appears in a business suit, already in a meeting hall. You see, the process is moving, problems are being solved. So now, some are praising Annalena for her social media videos and her beautiful quotes. Other people are criticizing her, stating that the reality on the ground is completely different, and they're saying, stop telling us these stories. Some are even calling the former German foreign minister incompetent or just plain self-satisfied. We'll see what comes next. But one thing is crystal clear. Annalena Baerbock is watching the American teen drama Gossip Girl and lifting quotes from it, trying to create this grandiose impression on everyone, primarily about her own work. You just can't make this stuff up. At almost the exact same time, but over in France, the tax on the super-rich has been, to put it simply, buried by the National Assembly. The fat cats, as expected, remain completely untouched. As you know, this tax was proposed by the socialists. They were demanding greater tax justice, to reduce the burden on ordinary French citizens. They even threatened a vote of no confidence in the government as an ultimatum if it failed. But the minimal tax, just 2% on assets worth more than 100 million euros, didn't pass. Why? because of disagreement from the right wing and the central blocs. The far left, as usual, immediately called for the overthrow of the government. In short, the crisis there is only intensifying. Also in France, they've identified who the suspects were and where they worked in that high-profile Louvre robbery. French investigators have reported 7 detainees in this major case. 2 of the alleged participants in the raid have partially admitted their guilt. One is a 34-year-old unemployed man originally from Algeria. He previously worked as a garbage collector and a courier, and he already had a conviction for theft. The second is a 39-year-old unlicensed taxi driver. He was already known to the police for armed robberies. According to the investigation, he was the one who broke open the museum display cases using a saw. His DNA was found at the crime scene. Another 5 suspects have been detained for questioning. They're clarifying all the details. Among them is the alleged driver of the moped that the robbers used to escape. But here is the most important part. The stolen jewelry has still not been found. This, naturally, raises a lot of questions. And so far, there are no answers. We are watching this one very closely. But the situation gets even more bizarre. Over in Austria, starting November 3rd, they are introducing a high-risk regime because of an avian flu outbreak. After a massive outbreak in neighboring Germany, they now have the first case of the illness in wild birds in both Lower and Upper Austria. Therefore, as of November 3rd, the entire country will be classified as a high-risk zone. Poultry farmers in other European countries have also been affected. In Germany, they culled more than 500,000 animals. But for some reason, they are now trying not to share more extensive and detailed information. They're keeping it quiet. As for new reports from the United States, there is also an alarming message. To this day, in the American state of Mississippi, police are still searching for a laboratory monkey that escaped after a car accident. A monkey that is, and I need you to hear this, infected with 3 very dangerous diseases. They can't hide this anymore. It turns out that, to put it very mildly, unacceptable experiments are taking place in these laboratories, even though initially everything was denied, which also isn't surprising. The incident happened back on October 28th. A truck that was transporting a group of macaques from a university medical laboratory drove into a ditch. Some of the animals escaped through damaged wooden containers. According to police, most of the monkeys were successfully caught. However, one, for some reason, is still at large. Therefore, everyone is being warned. The situation is very serious. Authorities have already appealed to residents not to approach the animal if they see it and not to try to catch it, although I can't imagine anyone would try. We are continuing the search for the one monkey, the police said in a statement. So we too are observing what will happen next. And if a diseased monkey on the loose wasn't enough, FBI agents prevented horrific actions on Halloween in a suburb of Detroit. A group of young people, all under 20 years old, was planning to commit unthinkable atrocities, but agents detained them just in time. According to the investigation, they had undergone special training with firearms in advance and were discussing the attack under the code name Pumpkin Day. FBI Director Kash Patel stated that investigators suspect a connection between this group and the extremist organization Islamic State. The investigation is ongoing, and the FBI emphasizes that there is no longer a threat to the population. But let's leave all that complexity aside for a moment. There is one more interesting item today, and it's being discussed very heatedly. It turns out another scammer posing as Elon Musk managed to deceive a pensioner in Germany. In early October, the scammer struck up a conversation with a 76-year-old woman from a small Bavarian town. The fraudster introduced himself as Musk, won her trust, and offered to help multiply her material savings. She didn't think anything bad of it. She transferred 18,000 euros to him. The woman believed she was making a profitable investment, thinking to herself, "The real Elon Musk wouldn't give bad advice." Then, under the pretext of an urgent operation, the fake Elon Musk asked for additional money. Can't miss out on the income, it's just getting started. The woman was ready to send a second sum, 20,000 euros, but thankfully she was saved by a bank employee who suspected the fraud in time. Now, the police are investigating this case and warning everyone. Scammers often build trusting relationships online and then demand money, allegedly for treatment or for help or for profitable investments. But the most interesting part is this. Why did this person not even stop to ask herself what possible interest Elon Musk could have in starting up a daily conversation specifically with her? But this is the kind of thing that happens in our time. So these are the informational moments for today, right now, and they speak volumes. We've seen Wilders challenging an election in the Netherlands. We see Germany grappling with the fallout of its migration policy, while its former top diplomat quotes teen dramas. The super rich in France remain untouched, while a diseased monkey is on the loose in Mississippi. These are the things shaping our world. Write your opinion. Tell me what you think about everything that's happening. As always, I urge you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss these updates. And if you believe in this independent work, please consider becoming a channel sponsor. That support is what allows me to continue doing this, free from any corporate narrative. I appreciate every single one of you.